Hello students, I welcome you all to my YouTube channel, that's Akifa's Commerce Classes. So in the last session, I explained to you all about the different types of share capital. That was authorized capital, subscribed capital, called up and so on. Okay. And we also discussed about how a company basically allots its shares, like through application, then allotment, then the first call and the final call. Okay. So in my previous video, we discussed about the theoretical concept. Okay. So with this video, we'll start with solving our problems. Okay. So before we start solving our problems, we should know that there is something known as a pro forma. Okay. So we need to first learn the pro forma on journal entries. Okay. So for exam purpose, it is important that you all understand the different entries. Okay. Like for application, we have 2 entries, for allotment 2 entries, for first call 2 entries, and for final call 2 entries. Okay. So in total, the basic entries are 8. But then as we move further, we have different kinds of sums. Like for example, in one sum you may have oversubscription of shares, in one you may have undersubscription, in one you may have premium or discount, then comes calls in advance or forfeiture, reissue and so on. Okay, so we'll study everything in detail. So this is the basic pro forma on journal entries. Okay, so this pro forma comprises of 8 entries. You have to remember that for application there are 2, allotment 2, first call and final call 2 each. Okay, so let's start with our first one on receipt of application money. Okay, so when we are receiving application money, what comes in? The cash comes in. Okay, so here we write bank account debit to share application account. Okay, and you can see this thing which I have returned in the bracket, it is called narration. Okay, so it is very important because narration in general gives a brief description about the entry. Okay, so it is important from exam point of view also. So here the narration is being application money received. Okay, moving forward to the second one, this is for transfer of application money. So once you have received the application money, the next step is to transfer it to share capital account. So here the entry will be share application account debit to share capital, and the narration is being application money transferred to share capital account. Next is when share allotment money is due. Okay, so you can see that the first 2 entries were about application. So now the next 2 will be about allotment. So when the share allotment money is due, we write it as share allotment account debit to share capital. Okay, why? Because the allotment money is due. Next is on receipt of allotment money. So when you receive allotment money, the cash comes in. Therefore, bank account debit to share allotment account. And the narration is being allotment money received. Okay. So the third and the fourth entry was about allotment. So moving on to the fifth one, it will be on first call. So first call due. So share first call account debit to share capital, and the narration is being first call money due. Next, moving on to the sixth one. Now here we are receiving the call money. So whenever we are receiving any money, bank account will be debited. Why? Because debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So bank account debit to share first call account, and the narration is being first call money received. Now similarly, the 7th and the 8th entry is about the final call. The final call is also known as the second call. Okay, so when the second and the final call is due, the entry will be share second call account or final call account debit to equity share capital account, and the narration will be being second or final call money due. And the last one is on receipt of final call money. So again, when you receive cash, it is debited. So bank account debited to share second call or final call account debit, and the narration is being second or final call money received. Okay, so after that what you have to do, here you have to add the debit and the credit side. Okay, and the total should tally to each other. So this is in general the pro forma of journal entries. Okay, now to solve further problems, it is important, students, that you all know about these journal entries, because until and unless you all don't memorize or understand these journal entries, you will find the sums to be difficult. Okay, according to me, as per my experience, I have seen that many of the students find this particular chapter very difficult. But what I feel is that this chapter is the easiest, because nothing can be like twisted or a difficult question can be put on this, because maximum to maximum it's only forfeiture or reissue, that's it, and nothing further than that. So here if you understand the journal entries, the pro forma journal entries, then it will be very easy for you, because then you have to just calculate the amount and write it in the respective columns. Okay, so what I would say is that please go through the pro forma journal entries first and then start solving, because sometimes you may know how to calculate a particular amount but you may forget the journal entries. Therefore, it is important that while you are studying the journal entries, don't just by heart it but also try to understand it. Okay. So students, after studying the pro forma on journal entries, let's start solving one simple problem on journal entries. Okay. So the question says ABC Limited issued 50,000 equity shares of rupees 100 each, payable as follows. Application rupees 20 per share, allotment rupees 20 per share, first call rupees 30 and second call rupees 30. So all the shares were subscribed and the money was duly received on application, allotment, first and final call. So journalize the above transactions in the books of ABC Limited. So students, first of all, whenever you are solving any sum on journal entries or on shares, it is important that you see the total amount of shares which are issued. Here it's mentioned 50,000. Okay. Then you see here it says all the shares were subscribed. Okay. So this is important. It means all the shares were subscribed. So you have to multiply every amount to 50,000. Okay. So in further problems, there may be instances where here, for example, you may get that the shares only we received applications for rupees 60,000 shares. Okay, that is much more than what we required. So that is a case of oversubscription. Okay. Similarly, in this problem now we issue 50,000 shares, but we may receive 40,000 shares. Okay, that is less than what we wanted. So that is the case of undersubscription. Okay. So we'll study about that in the further videos, but for now let's start solving this problem. Okay. So according to the pro forma journal entries, the first is bank account debit to equity share application account. And how did I get this amount? First you have to see the issued amount, that is 50,000 multiplied by application share. So 50,000 into 20 will give you 10 lakhs. Okay. The same on the debit and the credit side, and the narration is being application money received on 15,000 shares at rupees 20. Okay. Moving on to the next entry, equity share application account debit to share capital account, and the same amount will come down also. Okay, like I said, for allotment, for application, allotment and the final calls, you have 2 entries each. So for both the entries the amount will be the same. Okay, like for here the first entry it is 10 lakh, for the second entry also it will be 10 lakh only. So moving on to the third one, that is allotment. So equity share allotment account debit to equity share capital account. Now we need to multiply this 50,000 into allotment share, that is rupees 20. So that also comes to 10 lakhs and 10 lakhs. And the narration is being allotment money on 50,000 shares at rupees 20 due. Okay. Moving on to the fourth one, bank account debit to equity share allotment account. Narration is being allotment money received on shares. Again the amount will be the same, that is 10 lakhs and 10 lakhs. So next we move on to fifth journal entry, that is on first call. So the entry is equity share first call account debit to equity share capital account. So here we'll multiply 50,000 into this rate 30. Okay, so we'll get it as 15 lakhs and 15 lakhs, and the narration is being first call money due on 50,000 shares at rupees 30 each. Moving on to the sixth one, it says bank account debit to equity share first call account, and the narration is being first call money received, and the same amount 15 lakhs and 15 lakhs. Moving on to the last one, equity share second call account debit to equity share capital account. So here you will multiply 50,000 with the second call rate, that is rupees 30. So that will give you 15 lakhs and 15 lakhs. And the narration is being second call money due on 50,000 shares at rupees 30 each. And the last entry is bank account debit to equity share second call account. Okay. And the amount will be the same, 15 lakhs and 15 lakhs. And the narration is being second call money received. So students, this is how we finished solving one basic problem on shares. Okay. So after you have finished entering all the entries, the last step is to total it. Okay. So after totaling, I have got 1 CR on both the sides. So this was a very basic problem on shares. Okay. You may not get such an easy problem for your exams because there are certain few things which may be added to the question. Okay. But this is the pro forma of journal entries. Okay. You have to know that these are the basic entries, and no matter how difficult the sum may be, some of the entries from this pro forma entries will definitely be repeated. Okay. So as you all can see that the solution was very easy. You have to just multiply the application allotment first and second call per share amount into the issued amount. Okay, that is as easy as that. So for this you only need to know about the journal entries. Okay, so this was all for today's session. We'll meet with the next video where we'll discuss about oversubscription of shares. Okay, and I will explain to you all what you mean by oversubscription, and then we'll solve one problem on that. Okay, so if you liked my today's video, then please like, share and subscribe to my channel. Also, if there are any feedbacks or suggestions, then please put it down in the comment section. Thank you.